Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? So I'm doing something different today. Today is, of course, the first day of Mental Health Awareness Month. It is May. So I thought I would check in just to kind of see how everybody is doing. Beautiful day outside, nice and sunny. Normally we would be feeling really good right now. We've had a lot of cold weather and rain and all of that. But we always know that that is not the case. We also know that we work really hard to act like everything is okay, show up for everybody else, but then, of course, sometimes struggling ourselves. So I just wanted to kind of check in. Most importantly, just to kind of take the time, mental health awareness is really important. I think we all kind of have at some time got hung up on those stigmas about what mental health means, and we always, once again, we always think about those worst case scenarios when we think about anxiety, when we think about depression. Our mind kind of goes to, those worst case things that, we heard about when we were younger, or, we've overheard in conversations or things like that. And just not kind of understanding that we all have mental health. And so we need, just like we all have physical health. And so I think that is important. I think some of the things that are more prevalent um, in our societies right now is anxiety and depression. And so how it shows up. So it can show up in many different ways. I think that just to talk a little bit about anxiety, I think we all struggle with anxiety from one time to another. Sometimes we don't have the skills or the ability to cope in certain situations. So usually we just kind of manage through it. We kind of, we minimize it. We may even dismiss kind of what we're feeling until it gets kind of too overwhelming. And then we start to think, like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I constantly overthinking this? Why am I worrying? Why can't I sleep? Why am I eating so much? Why do I not want to show up? Why do I not want to be around people? And so I think it's important for us to kind of understand that anxiety is kind of everywhere, it's in all of us. And to understand it sometimes can help us. So for instance, if I was to say, you know what, I have a lot going on right now and I feel really anxious, like I have a lot of things coming up, maybe I have a lot of tasks, a lot of responsibilities, and I'm noticing in my body I'm really anxious, like I'm really tense. I might be a little on edge. A lot of times if we're anxious, we may be a little on edge, easily annoyed, easily frustrated, and may kind of overreact to certain situations or certain things. And sometimes that's just our anxiety. Anxiety also can look a lot like overthinking or second guessing ourselves, like having a hard time making a decision, having a hard time, making plans. Sometimes overthinking in the sense of always creating scenarios. So what if this happens? And then what if this happens? And what if this happens? Like that need to be prepared. I think a lot of times also, and I feel like I say this throughout the day with a lot of my clients, a lot of time anxiety comes from the expectations we put on ourselves. And especially if we are comparing ourselves to other people, if you're on social media and you're looking at, oh, that relationship, the goals and all of that stuff, where you're looking, oh, she's doing well, she's doing this and she's doing that, or he's got this going on, or whatever the case may be. When we have expectations for ourselves, often that is what causes anxiety, because you have these expectations and sometimes they're unrealistic or they're based on wrong information. We're looking at social media, we're looking at people's highlight reels of them posting the best parts of their day, or whatever the case may be. And so we're comparing ourselves to those things, which causes us to have these unrealistic expectations. And then because we're not able to meet those expectations, we're not able to do all that. We like, our relationship is not like that. Our My parenting is not like that. My kids are not like that, or I'm working while they're in Jamaica, or whatever the case may be. It starts to cause this sense of uneasiness, this sense of helplessness. And so you just want to be aware of kind of what we're taking in. Also, the news, like watching the news and hearing all the things that are going on in the world, all the things that can be going on in the community, it can create this sense of fear, this sense of worry. Sometimes we start worrying about our own families, our own children. And if we were worried to the sense where we created some action steps to maybe prevent, then it's good. So, like for instance, when I'm with my unique girls, I never let them go to the bathroom by themselves. They always have to have a buddy. Why? Because crazy stuff happens in the bathroom when you go by yourself. So, because I've heard that information, I've made an action plan to prevent it. And so, in those senses, sometimes anxiety and worry can be good because sometimes it can help us prepare. It can help us plan. It can help us organize. It can help us prevent those things from happening. But a lot of times our anxiety is just there. It just consumes our mind. It consumes our brain. It's just like that hamster on that hamster wheel. It's going, it's going, it's going, but we're not getting anywhere. And when that type of anxiety sometimes can be somewhat hard because it takes us out of the moment. So instead of me enjoying my time with my family, my spouse, my partner, my friends, my mind is somewhere else. I'm thinking about this thing. I'm worrying about work. I'm second guessing, did I get things done? Or maybe I'm punishing myself because I didn't get everything done that I wanted to do. And so once again, it takes us out of the moment. It tenses up our body. It gets stuck in our system, which starts to cause physical elements, illnesses, and things. And so it's so good to find ways to manage your anxiety. So, how do we do that? Couple simple ways: counting, counting backwards. Sometimes it's a distraction. It kind of calms your anxiety down and it relaxes the body. Some of my clients have to count backwards from 50. You have to focus on that. Or 20. But once again, the method is still the same. It's to calm your body down. Deep breathing can also be a way. Seven, you count in 7 through your nose, you hold it for 4, you blow out for 7. It just kind of relaxes the body. Positive coping statements, and positive coping statements are like affirmations, but they speak directly to maybe what your negative thoughts are, or your negative cognitions are. So if I have a feeling of being a failure, then my positive cognition may be, I am good enough. I know who I am. I know whose I am. God is with me. And so that's positive, what we call positive coping statements. Those things you say when you feel pretty anxious. I'm doing the best that I can. In this moment, all is well. Those are positive coping statements. Another thing could be call someone who is supportive, a friend, a family member, someone who, and you don't even have to talk about what you're anxious about. Sometimes it could just be a good distraction to kind of get your mind off of that overthinking and second guessing. Exercise is always so important. I'm to the point now, I have to exercise. I have to move my body, whether it's walking, I'm swimming, I like dancing, weightlifting. I used to hate weightlifting. I found some videos that I like, some Christian workout videos, and I'm really into it now. So I'm like doing weightlifting at least every other day. I think I said walking, but if not, even walking is really important. Those kind of things, getting your body moving is always good for our mental health and our well-being. Being mindful of what we eat. I know if I eat beef and I eat pork, I tend to be a little sluggish. I'm also noticing a difference with my sugar, since I don't drink or eat that much sugar. When I do eat or drink sugar, I start to notice a change in my body. So what we eat is also important. Drinking a lot of water. I keep my water jug close. I try to remind myself. I have a reminder on my watch to help remind me to drink water. That's another thing. Drinking water is really good. Some other things can be too, having spaces and time where you just relax. where you're not running and ripping and you're not having to be somewhere and do something. You're not having to show up for people. Some people have prayer corners where they're able to just be. And if not prayer corner, just a relaxing space. Maybe it's out on your porch, or your deck with your feet kicked up. Maybe it's on the beach. Like yesterday, I spent the whole day on the beach looking at the sand. Maybe it's at a park. Maybe it's in your car listening to a podcast. But sometimes we have to clock out. Our body needs to clock out, because if we don't take the time to take care of our body and give our body what it needs, guess what? It'll clock out for us. And when it clocks out for us is when we can't come to work. We're calling out to work. We're spending time in bed. We're Netflix binge watching for days. We're not showing up for the world. And that's kind of when our body is crashing. So if we're able to take care of it, if you're at your kids' practice, walk the track, walk around the field. Use that time. Make yourself, your body, your mental health a priority. Have a good day. I hope this was helpful for someone. Thanks. Goodbye.